For our Module 1 and 2 review, there are 4 sections on the test. So you need to understand about positives, negatives, their opposites, and the absolute value, the distance. You will have real-world context where we are using the words to decide, is it getting bigger or smaller? We've got to compare and order the integers and rational numbers, and then finding the least common multiple and the GCF, the greatest common factor. So grab a paper and a pencil. You're going to do these 8 problems with me and bring it back to school, and you will get 5 dojo points. So let's jump in. So the first part is we're going to think about the number lines and marking opposites, absolute value, things like that. So we're going to mark 3 and its opposite on a number line. So draw yourself a number line. Remember, positives are always on the right, negatives are on the left. So starting from 0, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Now the opposite of 3 is -3. So go ahead and also mark -3. So you should have 3 and -3 marked on your number line. So opposites, if it's positive, it turns negative. If it's negative, it turns positive. Whatever the number is, same number, opposite side of 0. The next part is we're going to think about that absolute value, and we want to know which one is farthest from 0. So to get from 0 to 12, right, that's 12 away. -32 is backwards 32 units. The absolute value, so to get from 0 to -45, took us a distance of 45 units. So it doesn't ask which one is biggest or smallest. It says which one is farthest away. And this from 0 to 27, we have 27 units. So the one that is farthest away from 0 is the absolute value of -45. That one is farthest away from 0. That distance, even if it didn't ask distance, that's still the farthest away from 0. Our next section, we're going to think about some of our vocabulary words. So Gemma had $300 in her bank account, right? So she has that money. She withdrew. So she took money out. So she withdrew more than 200. So she had 300 and she took away at least $200. And we're going to write 3 possible amounts that she could have in her bank account now. She did more than 200. So we need to answer 3 things that she could have in her bank account now. So I know 300 minus 200, she has to have less than 100, right? Because she did more than 200. So she could have $99 in her bank account. So see if you can tell me at least 3 options that she could have in her bank account. So she had money, she took money out, so we should be getting smaller, going towards that negative side, and tell me 3 options she could have now. Marco went in a hot air balloon 227 feet above sea level, right? So he's going up in a hot air balloon. What integer, so what whole number represents the location? So if I'm thinking about my number line, right? He started on the ground at 0. He went up to 227. So the integer where he's at now is 227, positive because he went up into the sky, right above sea level. So that integer is just what number would you mark on the number line there. Our next section is asking us to complete the variables to make the inequality true. So, right, variables are just any letter that represent a number. An inequality is not equal. So it's saying these are not equal to 2. What could they be? So let's break it up and let's ignore this part here first. So let's ignore that. Let's just say W is less than 2. So you need to write something here that's true. Something that's less than 2 for W. So anything, W can be anything less than 2. Now let's go ahead and try the other side. So now we're just going to ignore this side here. So now it says 2 is less than k. So 2 has to be smaller than whatever k is, or k is greater than 2. So putting something for k that's bigger than 2. So if we look at the whole thing here, w needs to be less than 2. So anything smaller than 2 is w, but k has to be bigger than 2. Something that's bigger than 2. So 2's in the middle, w is smaller, k is bigger. So just anything to make those true, and kind of looking at it one piece at a time. Just look at the w, then look at the k, seems to help make us read it a little easier. All right, our next one says put the rational numbers in order from least to greatest. So we're looking for the smallest all the way to the biggest here. So we have 3, and this is like, I can see some of these other ones have decimal places, right? $3. Now I have $2.50. Thinking about them as money, is that a helpful strategy? Money has 2 places, so adding those zeros if we need to. So this one's already done, $2.75, $1.99, and then $3.01. Just adding those decimals, so right? This isn't 25, it's $2.50, $3. Let's go ahead and put those in order from least, looking for the smallest amount, all the way up to the biggest. All right, and our last 2 problems, we are doing least common multiple and greatest common factor. Lots of us like to hear that word least and we start making little numbers. But we have to multiply, then find the littlest number. So we're going to multiply by 9s, we're going to multiply by 15s, and find the littlest number. So multiples multiply. So we're just going to start making our list. 9, 18, 27, 36, what am I, 45. All of a sudden I forgot what I was counting by. Now let's make a list of 15. So 15 times 1 is 15. And if we're not sure what it is, we can always do the problem, right? 15 times 2, there's 10. 2, 3, there's 30. 15, okay? Or I can add on 15 more. If I'm at 30 and I need 15 more, 10 more is 40, 5 more is 45. So now I'm going to go 5 more is 50, 10 more is 60. 10 more is 70, 5 more is 75. So we have a list to get us started. So we multiplied first. Now we're looking for the littlest number they have in common. Do they both have a 9? No. Do they both have 18? No. 27? No. 36? No. 45? Yes, they both have 45. So their least common multiple is 45. So multiply, then find the littlest number. So greatest common factor, again, we hear that word greatest and we want to start multiplying. But factors, right, we have to do our factors are fewer. We're going to divide for our factors. So 18 divided by 1, always start with 1, is 18. Now we're going to do 18 divided by 2 is 9. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Oh my goodness, guys, my brain was not working there. 18 divided by 4, we can't do that one. 18 divided by 5, we can't do that. And we already have 6. So there's all the factors of 18, right? Factors are fewer. They're getting smaller than 18. We're not multiplying, even though it says greatest, right? Factors are fewer. Then we find the biggest number. So you've got to do multiples and factors, then go back to the first word. So now let's divide 24. So 24 divided by 1 is 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 24 divided by 4 is 6. 24 divided by 5, we can't do that nicely. It's not a nice factor, so we can't do that. And we already have 6. So now we're just going to look for the greatest number they have in common. Do they both have 18? No. Do they both have 9? No. Do they both have 6? Yes, our GCF is 6. So you've got to make sure you go in order and list them all. If we would have skipped that, we wouldn't have seen 6 as that factor. So yes, they have other ones in common like 3 and 2 and 1, but those aren't their greatest common factor. That's just a common factor. So make sure you list all of the factors that are fewer. So we divide for factors and then find the biggest one. Multiply for multiples, then find the littlest one. So go ahead and make sure you have those 8 problems done and bring that back to me, and you're going to do awesome on your test.